Hey, what's going on? I am Roy Browning, this is Jon Wolny, and today we're going to talk about how to be a great dad in the year 2020, or really any year.
Yes.
So you don't have just one child.
This is correct.
You have several children.
Yes.
How on earth do you find time to work a full-time job, to be a phenomenal husband, and still show them that one-on-one attention that they need in order to build the relationship?
Yeah, I did not pay him for that, by the way. Okay, you're awesome. A lot of it is, I'm going to use the word discernment. And part of discernment is, choosing something over here and saying no to something else over here. You can look at it from a time management perspective as well as a truth perspective, I think. I just have to be intentional about what I say yes to and what I say no to. And a lot of times, I've heard it said, you have to say no to something good to say yes to something great. I don't know who said that, but I think that's very, very true. And it's a hard thing to do. But again, when you have that long view, I think it helps me to say, okay, there's some trivial things right here that I might miss, but those trivial things are not going to be as important as building a relationship with my wife, building a relationship with my children, and what that looks like.
That's awesome. So, and speaking of that, we point out the awesome treehouse that's in progress here.
Yes.
And we chose this particular spot because a treehouse is just such a great visual representation of something that, as you build something like a treehouse with your kids, you choose that great thing over the good thing. So, what does that mean to you in building a treehouse with your son?
Yeah, such great memories. First of all, I think, growing up in my childhood, building tree houses with my dad and brothers, and that was just a mainstay. And it was something that was, adventurous. It took, planning and fun. And even though I may have just been the chief nail straightener, that was an important job, okay? But what it did was it bonded us together in a special way. And I think when I think about my children and working with my dad and brothers, even now on this treehouse, it's a special time to share together where you're just outside God's creation, just building something. And that idea of building something, really, it's a treehouse, maybe you're splitting wood, doing whatever. That kind of stuff is just spending that quality time together, choosing that over some other things, and it compounds over time. And you build those relationships, and who doesn't love adventure and building tree houses? Come on.
Heck yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Hey, I want to say thanks for joining Jon and I on this journey of being a great parent in the year 2020, or whatever year you're watching it. This last section of the video is going to be some really good practical advice that you can take away and start using right now. Jon and I made these videos to be a resource for you and for us, but we recorded them in this fashion so that you could share them with other people who maybe could use this information. It doesn't do us any good to have this video sitting here on a shelf and not getting it to the right people. If you know somebody that maybe could benefit from this, it would mean the world to me if you could share it to them. And it's not about likes or shares for me. I don't care about that. It's about getting the information to the people who really could use it. All right, I'm not going to keep you anymore. Here's the last section of Jon and I talking about how to be a great parent in the year 2020. See you soon. All right, so we're talking about being a great father or parent in general in 2020. One acronym that we'd like to share with you is RAI. And I'll throw a graphic on the screen, but RAI stands for Recognize, Accept, Implement. So, Jon, tell me, what does that mean? What does RAI mean?
Yeah, I think when you start with, I kind of look at it as like kind of gears working together. The first gear is recognition. Do I recognize the role that God has called me to as a parent? And you can go back at Deuteronomy chapter 6 talks about the role that God through Moses talked about that they needed to start with, and that applies to us indirectly. And it's just this idea that, okay, hey, God's called me, first of all, to love Him, to love my spouse, and to build a relationship with my kids. And so you recognize it, right? But then there's this middle phase, this middle gear really of, do you really accept it? Because I can sit here and say, you know what, I recognize I'm supposed to work out, right? But do I have to do that? Probably not. Okay, but until I get to that point of recognizing it, I really accept it, I internalize that and say, yes, I need to do something about it, and then I actually go and do it. So all those gears working together, I think, is what we're trying to get to in this RAI idea.
Yeah, I've said this before, just kind of a funny joke. 5 men are sitting on a log, 4 men decide to jump off. How many men are sitting on the log?
1.
No, there's 5. Just because they decided to jump off doesn't mean they actually did it. So that implement gear is still a very legitimate gear. You have to implement. You have to take action. So you have good intentions up front. I'm going to be the best parent ever. Like, that's what we all feel like, after we get over the fear of, oh, I'm a parent.
Yes, exactly. Responsibility.
Exactly. So we have to implement, though. We can't say this is a great idea, believe it in our heart, accept it, and then just sit on it.
An important item, just to recap too, is take perfection off the table. There's going to be days where you feel like, okay, things are going, this is great, and I know I felt that way. And there's other days where things just really stink, okay? But, you have to take the viewpoint, again, the long view. You got to take perfection off the table. If I'm shooting for the long view of what do I want to happen, I have to rely on God to give me strength to get through that as we fall down, because we're going to fall down. But don't stay down, get back up, trust the wisdom that God has given you through His Word, and keep going.
Yeah. Side note, but one other thing that I had heard this morning, Pastor Edward was saying that for every behavior, there is a belief behind it. And I thought that was interesting because as I look at my behaviors as a parent, I have to stop and look deeper than what my behaviors. Yeah. Why did I choose to take my son to play basketball and not choose to take my daughter to her gymnastics? Yeah. What's the belief that's behind that, that's driving that? Is there something there? In my case, it was a scheduling thing.
Sure.
But I have to be 100% willing to take my daughter to gymnastics, just like I am taking my son to basketball. It's the same thing. We have to be, we have to look at that. So, complete side note. I thought that was applicable. All right. So, we're going to leave you with this as you go about your day. Remember, no parent is perfect. There is no perfect, and we're all trying our best to do the best that we can with what God gave us. Recognizing, accepting, and implementing what you need to do as a parent. Protecting your children while you prepare them for this world. Building a relationship now, so that way when they get into a situation later, they trust you enough to tell you what's going on, so you could be part of their team and take that action to help them through it, and so that they don't feel alone, and so they don't go to a stranger, or worse yet, to the internet to try to find a solution to the problems that they're going through. So, John, I want to thank you so much for being out here in the freezing cold with me today. And, we'll see you next time when we talk about how to be an awesome husband this year. All right. Hey, thanks for joining us on this journey of being a great parent. I hope you enjoyed these videos. If you did, hit the subscribe button below and you get notified when we release the next set of videos. Have a great year, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, I'm going to tell you what my dad likes to do with me. The first thing is he likes to show me lots of attention when he can. The second thing is I love when he plays video games with me, because I love video games. And third, he's just the best dad in the world. The end. Thank you for watching.
Is this thing on? What are we thinking? All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. There's a breeze.
Okay.
You want to do the clap thing again?
Yes, I do. I like
All right.
to
Do the clap.
Ready?